Greetings everyone, this is Lucian Vulsan with the Freedom Alternative. I'm back as I promised. I'm back in Uzhgorod, Ukraine, the westernmost point of this country. And this time, as opposed to last time, we have plenty of time to actually explore this city in a very deep fashion. So without further ado, let's explore Uzhgorod, Ukraine. The city on the river Uzh, or Uzhgorod, is one of the cities of modern-day Ukraine that has a national university and is a city of Oblast importance. This is highly impressive for a city of slightly less than 120,000 inhabitants. Most of the cities that hold a national university are at least twice as big as this one, so this should be an indication as to how strong the culture is in this city. Now, as I mentioned in the video about my last visit here, this place has been conquered, torn apart, rebuilt and reconquered more than most of the places on Earth. Founded in the 9th century as a feudal town settlement, Uzhgorod was led by Prince Laboretz as vassal of Great Moravia until the Hungarians invaded, and in 1895, Anno Domini, the town becomes Hungarian and expands quite a bit. Then, 300 years later, the Mongols burn everything down, and between 1242 and the 1320s, the town is slowly being rebuilt. Meanwhile, the Anjou dynasty ascends to power in the Hungarian kingdom, and the locals resist their rule. Eventually, in 1318, the town is bought by the Italian side of the Duguid family, who own it until 1678. Now, for those who don't know, the Duguid family was a half-French, half-Italian nobility family that emigrated to Hungary. Long story on that, but it's kinda the norm with these very old cities. Now, since I showed you this part of the center on my last visit, let's head up the hill where the rest of the neat things are located. The first stop is at the Bishop Andrei Bachinskoho Plaza, or Ploshcha Episcopa Andreia Bachinskoho in Ukrainian, where the Holy Cross Ruthenian Cathedral is located. Now, last time I was here it was closed. This time it was open as it was the Ascension Day. Now, the cathedral is the seat of the formerly known Eparchy of Mukachevo, which was formed in Mukachevo, a town roughly 50 kilometers south from Uzhgorod, but was moved here in 1780 by Bishop Andrei Bachinsky, hence the name of the plaza. Now, what's interesting about these Ruthenian churches is that they look Orthodox, they follow the Orthodox calendar, they resemble Greek Catholics but are not Greek Catholics, yet they're Catholics. I know it doesn't really make that much sense at the first glance, but that's really how the Ruthenian Church works. The Ascension Mass was held at the same time with the Orthodox Church, and as you can see inside, the place looks a lot more Orthodox than Catholic. This is possible thanks to the 1646 Union of Uzhgorod, when a large mass of the Orthodox Christians recognized the Pope instead of the Patriarch of Constantinople for political reasons, and subsequently contributing to the weakening of Christendom in the East and the fall of Constantinople under Dar al-Islam, but that's another story for another day. Anyway, since a mass was being held inside, I could not take the footage that I really wanted, but don't worry, I got several hours of detailed footage with similar churches in Lviv, so I'll recover the lost ground in the following episode. Until then, let's move further uphill from this church and walk on Vulnitsia Capitulna, or the Capitulna Street, where on number 33 there's the Uzhgorod Castle, which also serves as the Zakarpattia Local History Museum, or Zakarpatsky Krayeznavchi Muzey. Now, this complex is absolutely huge and takes several hours to visit. The upsides of it are that the ethnographic museum, that I'll show you in a few minutes, is very well done, and the fact that the castle is very well preserved for a 13th century castle. The downsides are that some chambers are decorated in a highly kitsch manner, no staff speaks anything but Ukrainian, not even Russian for crying out loud, and videotaping and photographing is forbidden in the chambers that depict weapons and religious icons, even if you pay the tax for videotaping. I mean, this ban kinda defeats the purpose, since the most glorious chambers of the museum inside the castle are those with weapons and religious icons. But anyway, I'll stop complaining now. At least some of the signs are also in English, such as this one pointing to these remains of a Roman Catholic temple from the 14th century, though some of the decorations in the courtyard are also quite new, such as this one. The ensemble also has a more private interior courtyard with a very deep fountain similar to the one from the Bran castle in Romania. Now from this courtyard, the first stop is in the dungeon where the torture chamber used to be located until mid-18th century when the whole ensemble was repurposed. And well, the dungeon is one of the chambers I was referring to when I mentioned the kitsch decorations. I almost feel sorry for the extra 10 hryvnia that I paid for access in this dungeon. Anyway, let's go upstairs and take a look around inside the castle.
Черешенька цвіте, вечерять мама кличе, співає сонячні пісні, уся моя родина, бо я вродилась на землі, що зветься Україна. Заквітучі гаї і калини цвіт у лузі, станьмо, браття мої, помолімось разом, друзі, хай молитви слова, небо птахою полинуть, щоб завжди берегла Матір Божа Україну, любов'ю сповнена земля, одна така на світі, тут кожен день зустрічаю я, серця добром сповиті, ми покладемо за мету, від малу й до загину, любити землю цю святу, що зветься Україна. Заквітучі гаї і калини цвіт у лузі, станьмо, браття мої,
As I said, the most glorious portions of the castle are banned from videotaping or photography, and they actually have an old grumpy lady for every such room to strictly enforce the policy. Just Ukraine things.
Гаї і калини цвіт у лузі, станьмо, браття.
Anyway, after we're done with the castle, the next logical step is the ethnography museum located some 50 meters uphill from the castle. Now, the reason I like this museum is because it has elements from all the areas of Ukraine, and basically those interested in this topic need only visiting this one and safely skip all the other ethnography museums located all over Ukraine. Also, this one has very light photography and videotaping policies, so I'll let you enjoy this one. Now after this, I was supposed to go to the Thermal Star Resort located at the periphery of the city in order to get some panoramic images, but the place was under renovation and also the person that served as some sort of a guide was unavailable for the evening, so I kinda got stuck in the city. And as I alluded to when I was here, the nightlife of the city is basically non-existent. For instance, this is the most important crossroad in the city at 9:30 p.m. Whilst the infrastructure of the city is prepared for a much more rich nightlife, according to the locals, other than several clubs and discos, which are definitely not my cup of tea, nothing is really going on in the night, neither during weekdays nor in weekends. So the next day I took several long walks until the train that had to take me to Lviv was scheduled. I really wanted to go inside the main Ukrainian Orthodox Church in Transcarpathia, namely the Cathedral of Christ the Savior in Kirilla и Mefodiya Ploshcha, or the Cyril and the Methodius Square. But just like last time, no luck this time either. So after some more walking, I headed towards the railway station and took the train Uzhgorod-Kyiv that took me to Lviv. And this concludes the third episode of this series. Basically, this city is a one-day stop on one's road to Lviv. For investment purposes, this city is actually great, but for tourist purposes, well, not so much. It could become a much bigger tourist attraction, but for now, the landmarks can be covered on foot in just one day. Next stop in the tour is Lviv, and we'll spend at least 3 videos on that city because Lviv really is glorious. So glorious that I modified the terms of this tour on the spot to extend my stay there. But until then, keep calm and Slava Ukraini! Thank you for watching.